have a quorum.
Thank you very much. This morning our invocation will be given by the Honorable Doug Teets, the great city of Troy. I'd ask him to come forward to the podium, and I'd ask you all to please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Teets.
Thank you very much. Let us all pray. Oh God, you made us in your own likeness. You love us. You love what you have made. Give to those whom you have placed in the seats of honor and power a sense of awe and humility before you as their Creator and Lord. Help them to see the unity of the human family and to promote it. Enable them to feel the suffering of humankind and to alleviate it. Give to them the blessings of sound judgment, the skill of making wise decisions, the patience to act in due time, and the tact for being mutually helpful. Lord, we especially lift up in prayer today the family of Kay Schmid. Please comfort them during this time of loss. May we all gather in a moment of silence as we remember Kay. Finally, Lord, we lift up in prayer today the 300,000 or so residents of Oakland County that have been dealing with the water issues in our county. Please give them the solace and may we restore their water soon so that they can return to their normal lives. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll now take a motion to approve the minutes of October 11th, 2017, moved by Fleming, supported by McGilvery. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The minutes have been approved. Now on to the approval of the agenda, and for that I'll call on the Majority Caucus Chair, Commissioner Shelley Taub. Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have one suspension on my list. It's Finance Committee, and this needs to be reconsidered at the board meeting to accept the HR report. It's MR 17282. County Executive Compliance Office and Parks and Recreation Dedicated Auditing Support Position Creation. We're going to waive Rule 12C1. The resolution was not referred to Human Resources Committee. The resolution was taken up by Finance on October 5th, 2017, and it was taken up by Human Resources on October 18th, 2017. With that, I would like to move the agenda as amended.
All right, so we have a motion by Taub to move the agenda with the addition of one item under special business, supported by Bowman. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
On the agenda as amended, Commissioners Bowman, Crawford,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Gersonson's not here, Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson, Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal, Long,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Quarles, Spiz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Teets,
Yes.
Weipert,
Yes.
Woodward, Zach,
Yes.
Berman.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays. The amended agenda has been approved, and that'll bring us to the communications portion of our agenda. This is the opportunity where we get to recognize special organizations and special individuals within our community, and we have a number of those this morning. We also have a couple presentations that'll come before us, so we'll start with Commissioner Shelley Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I'm going to start reading as Dr. Mogul comes up here. Whereas we are proud to recognize special individuals who have demonstrated extraordinary leadership, talent, and dedication within their fields of expertise, and who have made significant contributions to their profession, their community, and their country. And whereas Dr. George Mogul, a veteran, physician, teacher, and mentor, is a very special individual who is loved and respected by former patients, students, and colleagues. He earned his MD from Wayne University College of Medicine in 1942 and joined the U.S. Army Medical Corps the following year. We all know what happened in the 40s. Dr. Mogul landed in Normandy just 4 days after D-Day, and cared for patients in the Army's 8th Field Hospital in France and in Germany. Whereas after returning home after the war, Dr. Mogul became a general practitioner in private practice with privileges at Grace Hospital. When he began his private practice, he was just the 3rd physician in Detroit to have an integrated practice. In 1972, he joined the Wayne State University WSU School of Medicine's faculty as a clinical instructor in the Department of Family Medicine. He served as chief of the Department of Family Practice at Harper Grace Hospital from 1977 to 1984, and later served in the same position at Sinai Grace Hospital. And whereas in 1980, Dr. Mogul was named an honored alumnus of Alpha Omega Alpha Medical Fraternity, and in 2000, he received the Southeast Michigan Quality of Care Award from Pfizer Incorporated. In 2006, Dr. Mogul was a recipient of both the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Michigan Academy of Family Physicians and the Exemplary Teaching Award from the American Academy of Family Physicians. Whereas in 2016, Dr. Mogul was honored by his alma mater, the Wayne State University of Michigan, with a Lifetime Achievement citation for his loyalty and commitment to the school. And he continued as a preceptor until 1992. Dr. Mogul and his family, his wife Irma, who passed away in 2012, were married for 60 wonderful years and have 3 children, 10 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. Dr. Mogul has long loved the game of squash and taught countless others to play over the years. In celebration of his recent 100th birthday, we join with Dr. Mogul, family, friends, and students and colleagues to congratulate him on this very special milestone. We thank him for his exemplary service to this country and his extraordinary contributions to his patients, his community, and his country. Now, therefore, Michael Gingell, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with myself and the entire Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim special commendation to Dr. George Mogul, who has served as a role model to generations of physicians and students, and we wish him a very happy but belated 100th birthday. Dr. Mogul.
Thank you.
You are welcome, and his daughters are here, his son-in-law. We want to thank you for coming as well. And Dr. Mogul, I want you to know he practiced medicine until, 95?
He was 92. He had stopped practicing at about 82, and then one of his residents called him back, and he joined that office and still taught until he was 92. So we don't let him drive. But well, I know you mentioned that he was the 3rd doctor to integrate his office. But what I also would like to say is that when he came back from World War II, he had been a doctor on a ship with all black infantrymen, and he was one of white officers. And when he came back, he was called and told not to integrate his office. And he refused, and he said, my patients can go anywhere. If they don't want to sit next to the white next to the black and the black next to the white, they can get another doctor. And it was his livelihood. It really, he was told that it would end his career to do that. And it didn't. And the hospitals were still black and white segregation hospitals, and he integrated the hospitals themselves, which is very exciting.
Why don't you all just stand right here? Yeah. He said to say cheese. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I might add that I have some goodies that Jane baked for all of us, and I will kind of pass them out. We can share them a little bit later. Thank you.
This morning, we also have another proclamation by Commissioner Taub, so I will recognize her for this additional proclamation.
Officer Katie Pedersen, will you come up, please, from the Birmingham Police Department? Most of us just think that police officers do their job and they kind of go home to their families, but Casey is one great exception. Officer Casey Pedersen of the Birmingham Police Department is a shining example of a woman of incredible character, skill, and dedication, as well as extraordinary work ethic. And whereas growing up in Northville and graduating from Mercy High School, which is in Farmington Hills, Officer Pedersen is an accomplished athlete who played Division I soccer at Valparaiso University. And whereas after rigorously training and preparing, Officer Pedersen traveled to Los Angeles to compete in the 2017 World Police and Fire Games, which has been described as the Olympics for first responders. The event drew more than 9,000 athletes from over 60 different countries. And whereas in her very first appearance at the Games, Officer Pedersen placed 5th in CrossFit competition, which tests athletes on metabolic conditioning, weightlifting, and gymnastics. She was one of only 3 American athletes that competed in the 18 to 29-year-old division. And whereas we joined proudly together with the Birmingham Police Department to recognize Officer Pedersen for her remarkable accomplishments and to congratulate her on winning 5th place in CrossFit competition of the 2017 World Police and Fire Games. Officer Pedersen, congratulations.
Thank you all for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I'm very lucky to continue to relive this awesome experience. Nothing that I did really compares to Dr. Mogul, so thank you for your service, sir. But it was awesome, and all the hard work really paid off. I got to meet some pretty incredible police and firefighters. Still, I talked to one girl from Australia, another girl from Belgium and France. So those were some friendships I'll have forever, but I also get to compete in China in 2 years. So hopefully I get invited back and I have a better place finish than 5th. So hope to see you in 2 years.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Taub. Move on to our next item on our agenda. Mr. Gingell had to step out for a second, so I will take over until he steps back in. We'll move on to a presentation from Christina Nichols from the Oakland County Health Network. Christina.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today. Again, my name is Christina Nicholas, and I am the Administrator of Substance Use Disorder Services for the Oakland Community Health Network. I wanted to provide a quick update regarding our Sober Support Unit, or what we were calling Social Detox, as well as where we are with providing immediate access to services for people with substance use disorders. Most people are not lost on the fact that we have a large opioid epidemic among us. In that, we need to increase services and have increased services exponentially over the last 3 years. In addition to that, we wanted to provide 24/7 support to the individuals in Oakland County that need our assistance. To that end, we opened what is called the Sober Support Unit. The Sober Support Unit is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. People can come into our Resource and Crisis Center, and if they need immediate assistance, will be placed on that unit and then placed within treatment within 24 hours. We always take people for walk-ins during the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. during the week. However, we recognize that that is not enough. So individuals may come into our Resource and Crisis Center and receive services and be connected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In addition to that, we are working with our provider network to increase residential services within Oakland County. So we have 4 different providers that are either increasing space within Oakland County or starting new programs within Oakland County. This will assist us in also providing 24-hour access when people come in for scheduled appointments. So I just wanted to let you know that it is now open. We started with a soft opening in September to iron out any kinks and make sure that the process flow would be going well. We've now put out a press release to all of our law enforcement partners, to hospitals, and are steadily increasing in numbers each day. Are there any questions from anyone?
So access would be through the screening that's conducted by Common Ground or through your organization? How do people access this?
So you can walk into Common Ground. Common Ground is the provider through an RFP. They were the provider selected to run the unit, and so it is at the Resource and Crisis Center where Common Ground and our Access Center are. If it's during normal business hours, people can come in and we will screen them immediately. If there is not an immediate bed or they don't have a safe environment with which to wait for a bed, which generally we're placing people within about 48 hours, then we will then move them over to Common Ground, who will triage them, make sure that they're appropriate for the unit, and then place them on the unit, at which time they will go the next day. During the weekend, we have worked with our providers who, if they come in during the weekend or after hours, they can transfer to one of our providers within 24 hours, and we will screen when we come in after the holiday or weekend when that happens. So the screening does occur through us to determine level of care. However, they can come onto the Common Ground unit through Common Ground.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, an address so you can put it in MapQuest to find.
It's on this county campus, so it's 1200 North Telegraph.
Okay.
It's at the Resource and Crisis Center, Building 34 East.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Moving on, next, we have a presentation from the Road Commission for Oakland County. So I will call on all members of the Oakland County Road Commission that are present. I believe, Eric, you're going to open up? Eric, are you going to make opening comments? Okay. Eric Wilson.
Are we ready? Good morning. My name is Eric Wilson. I am the chairman of the Road Commission for Oakland County. I want to thank the board for inviting us here to make a presentation to talk to you about what we have been involved in this past year, and kind of like what we're going to be doing this next year. We want to, as board members, we'd like to personally thank the board for recognizing our work this past year and the efforts that you did in recognizing that. We thank you again for that at this time. Okay, we've been busy. You can see what's going on here. We've been really busy. Rocky did not make it up there because we have been busy. That's a picture from Duck Lake Road, by the way, Commissioner. If you know where that is, right there on Duck Lake Road. This is things we've been doing. We've been all over the county. We have been purposely, assiduously, doggedly working to get these roads repaired since we received additional funding. In 2017, we did preservation overlays. We worked on 35 miles of road in 2017. And we've showed you different pictures, and some of you, most of you commissioners will either recognize your name, your district, or the road that's in your district. We've been doing different roads, whether it's Silver Lake Road, Duck Lake Road, Oakwood Road, Wyoming Road, over in Commissioner Zach's area, Corton and Drake, all over the county. New technique. We're always looking for different ways to fix the roads better. This is called what we call a Texas two-step. Innovative. What it is we do a preservation overlay with a chip seal. We're trying that out in different areas so that the road maintenance we put down will last. That's the key. We're concerned about warranties. We're concerned about that the work we do lasts and the money we put in. We don't want to be going back and forth to roads. We want to make sure it lasts. Now that we have new money to put in, we're putting it on the roads. Some of our 2017 projects all over the county. We have West Bloomfield, we've got Maple resurfacing, Orchard Lake, Lasser, Napier and 10 Mile Road. I think that roundabout is just open right now. That was a big construction, big issue right down there just for safety, and I know that roundabout is open. Just a lot of money going back into the county roads. Largest project was in Baldwin Road. It's about a $40-some million project. It's at Commissioner Gingell's Road. It's an ongoing, it's about a 2-year project going on out there. Right now, Dan's construction excavating is working on that. And we hope to see that completed in 2019. Fairly large project, but it's going, and we're moving. 2017, bridges and culverts. Doesn't get a lot of pictures, a lot of things going on, but they're very, very important, bridges and culverts, because when you replace those bridges, as we did in Commissioner Jackson and 12 Mile Southfield, it makes traffic flow, makes the water flow, but you don't have the issues in the backup. Middle Belt, culvert replacements, Kokendorfer and Commissioner Teets, issues going on South Boulevard, Livernois Road, those are very important. Next. Something new. This past, I'll tell you how it started. Well, maybe 2014, 2015, we're at a seminar with the managing director. The gentleman is a speaker from the state of Kansas. He's talking about purchasing federal aid money. Dennis, let's go talk to this guy. I don't quite understand what he's talking about. I says, we're from the Midwest. Explain it to us again, will you? So he did. He sat down. What we're doing is we're purchasing money. Federal road, we have to purchase other federal road monies, rural road monies from other road agencies in the state of Michigan. In other words, Oakland County basically bought all the federal aid money that was the UP had for 75 cents on a dollar. And say with that money then, with that extra money, we were able to do, as you can see, Baldwin Road, Commissioner Speeds, I don't know if you're up there or not, you can see that, and in Oakwood. And what this allows us to do then is to make those repairs in those districts with that extra money, and then spend more money other parts of the county, as we saw down in Roanoke Township, out in maybe in South Lyon. So using that money to resurface sections is important. We have already purchased money for next year from certain counties up north. Leelanau, they've already sold us our money for 75 cents on a dollar. I will tell you this, Kent County was paying 80 cents on a dollar. They've since changed, they're now paying 75. We negotiate a little better than Oakland County does. So just let you know, we're always looking for ways to spend this money and to get additional funding for you. We've got other tri-party programs that we've talked about that are going on for 2018, Updike Road, Trip Road, Commerce Lake Road, South Boulevard, and different other issues that we're going to be doing, Holly Township. And one other thing that we do is we maintain 1,500 road traffic signals, 150,000 plus signs, 230 miles of highway. So when you see a light go out, they'll be calling us to come out and fix it, get the timing fixed, get it replaced. That happens all over the county. Oakland County Road Commission does that and goes all over. One of the projects we accomplished for was in city of Roanoke in regards to 12 Mile Road, changing the speed limit down there, Commissioner Wilbur, down to 35, and it was not an easy thing to do. It took us a little time and effort working with the state police, but it was accomplished, and the residents are happy, the city's happy, and I'm sure the commissioner was happy about that. So overall, we're doing a lot of activities, And what we're going to do now, I'm going to have Commissioner Jamian speak about some of the safety issues we're doing, and then and Ron likes to talk about trucks because I think he still has. I like trucks. So he's going to talk about equipment. Greg?
Good morning. I'm Greg Jamian, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Road Commission for Oakland County. And I think one of my proudest accomplishments in life was sitting where you're sitting as a former Oakland County Commissioner myself. So with that, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I'd like to just give you a brief update on some of the things that we're doing, some of the things that you don't hear about, but hopefully you see about. And as you drive the county road system's 2,700 miles of roads, you may be noticing something different. We have gone to a new program where we're always working on making the roads safer, and we are widening the stripes on the outer boundary of the road. And you may say, so what? You know, big deal. But numerous studies have shown that more visibility creates safer roads. So it's all about safety. And so what we've done, Road Commission for Oakland County, is we've created a new standard for the state of Michigan. We've heard about it in other states. We've actually gone from the current 4-inch stripe that is common, and this is the outer, this is the stripe, this is where it marks off where the road ends and the shoulder starts. So you want to always know where you are in the center of that lane. So we've gone from a 4-inch stripe to a extra wide 6-inch stripe. And it does a number of things. It's, you know, in all weather conditions, you can see the edge of the road, which has been a complaint by, you know, many people, and it's also caused, you know, many accidents. But day and night, that stripe becomes more visible as well, that extra incremental 2 inches to widen that stripe and that marking. Other things that it works well with is, you know, snow coverage or debris. You know, it's less likely to cover, snow or debris is less likely to cover 6 inches versus 4 inches. So it provides a little bit of a safety margin there. The other thing is it won't wear off as fast as it does wear, because we go through the entire county road system once a year and we restripe everything in the system. And there are some technologies out there where, you know, we may be able to do that once every 1.5 years or 2 years, but the current vendors and products we use now are 1 year. But this wider stripe may stretch that out to 1.5 years. So we're actually pretty excited about that. And the bottom line is it helps people keep, you know, in the center of the roadway, of the lane, which veering off out of your lane, you've heard the term stay in your lane, used in other contexts, but in the road context, staying in your lane means safety. So sure, that stripe, that little incremental extra 2 inches costs a little bit more. But when you look at that extra cost over the entire road system and you compare it the safety outcomes that we're already seeing, that small incremental increase is definitely worth it when you're talking about human lives and property damage. Lastly, lastly in my presentation, we have a lot more information to give out, but I want to talk about the future of striping since we're talking about striping, because there's some interesting things that are happening out there. You know, everybody talks about GPS and controlling the cars of the future, but today, the striping in the roads is what controls a lot of some of the systems on vehicles, little cameras reading those stripes. So if they can read the stripes better, you know, your guidance is better. But what the Road Commission is looking at, we're studying right now, there's, as the intense pressure, you know, is on us to accommodate our roads to, you know, driverless cars at some point, we're looking at a lot of different things. And 3M is a company out there that everybody knows. They're experimenting with particles that are put into the road striping paint. And if you can imagine cars with sensors, as they go over the roadway, they read the particles, the metal particles in this paint, and to provide, you know, guidance as the roads go, you know, as the vehicle goes up the road. And it's able to, these systems are, this paint and these particles and sensors are able to operate in all weather conditions, which is pretty exciting development. So we're looking at that pretty closely. There's an application out there of using new paints and signs as well that'll communicate to the cars. And so by tweaking, you know, some of the existing safety measures that we already provide, you know, this paint concept with metal flakes in it, something that, you know, is in the future, but the future's not so far away. We look at it as a very low-cost way of adapting our roads to accommodate, you know, more of the high-tech cars. And you got to remember, GPS does not give you good measurements. You could be off 6, 8, 10, 15 feet with GPS systems as guidance, whereas this is within an inch when it's guiding you down the road. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We're always on the cutting edge, looking for new ideas. If you have ideas, please give them to us, forward them to us, and be assured that, you know, we do have teams that are always looking on how to make our roads safer and more efficient. Thank you. And with that, I'll introduce Ron Fulks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Beautiful morning. I'm here to talk about the very real possibility of winter happening this year. After a near-perfect, pure Michigan summer, we will no doubt face several fully televised Snowmageddon events. Don't worry, we got this. We're going to talk about some of the salt routes and staffing. We have 106 salt routes. That means we launch 106 trucks. Sometimes we stagger them depending on how the weather comes in. And when all 106 vehicles are out on the roads, it costs the taxpayers between $25,000 and $30,000 per hour. That's why we don't send them out early. We wait till we get some snow down, and then we start going to work. The average route is about 35 miles. And our maintenance department, the people that are responsible for doing this work, is 173 strong. But we also hire about 40 when we can get them, temporary workers. Now, these men and women really do a great job. We guarantee them about 3 days a week work. And at the completion of their term, so to speak, we get to select the best ones that fit in the best to hire a full-time worker. So it's a real plus for us. We have contractors we call in clear the primary gravel roads. Believe it or not, some of our primary roads are still gravel. We have 760 miles of gravel roads in the county still. And when we get over 6 inches of snow, we pull in contractors to help clear that out. And in some conditions, we pre-treat the roads. Well, with salt brine. So that's generally the expressways, which we have 200 and some miles of expressways that we help maintain for MDOT. We spray on the salt brine, the snow and ice doesn't stick. So it gives us a little heads up before a bad event starts coming. Winter road prioritization. The critical routes, which are more than 10,000 vehicles per day per lane, or 40,000 per day with 4 or more lanes. Examples of that are like Orchard Lake Road, Big Beaver, Southfield Road, and the expressways. The priority 1 routes, are 2,500 to 10,000 vehicles per day per lane. That would be like Middle Belt and most of your mile roads. The priority 2 to 5, those are other paved roads, including access to hospitals, schools, and other significant traffic generators, gravel roads, subdivision streets. We get yelled at by having subdivisions down there towards the end of our snowstorm cleanup. We sympathize. But we have to go out and get the high-speed roads cleared first. People don't get badly hurt driving subdivision streets. So we're out there as soon as we can, but yeah, they're unfortunately back down on the list. Equipment. Since 2013, we have purchased 47 new trucks. These new trucks cost about $220,000 each. So it takes a while to rebuild our task force. We went 5 years because of the recession without buying any equipment at all. So we're still on a catch-up mode right now. But while we're talking about that, again, we would like to thank the county for the $2 million from 2015 for the critical needed trucks. We've also been aggressively replacing other types of equipment, including road graders, electrical trucks, and heavy-duty pickups. Rapid response vehicles. This is new, and we're really proud of this. We purchased 18 Ford F-250 heavy-duty pickup trucks with plows and salt spreaders. We send these trucks home with their on-call person to respond quickly to surprise snow ice events. For instance, like a snow squall that you don't know is coming, all of a sudden it dumps on a hill, then that's the first thing that we hear about. Now with these trucks, we can begin to clear and salt intersections, hills, and problem areas while our big truck is being loaded and traveling to the destination. We also use these pickups for snow removal on subdivision streets as well as for intersections. We've also changed snowplow calling practices so the drivers living closest to the garage are called in first. Gets our snowplows on the roads quicker. Now we have our contact information. At this point, I would like to bring up Greg and Eric. See if you guys have any questions. We'd love to answer them.
Commissioner Zach.
I have a question. How is Woodward Avenue categorized? Is it still considered, is it a critical road? Where is it on the?
That's an it.
We're get a specific, what is it, blue?
It's still classified as a priority blue, but
Wait, what is it classified as?
Priority blue, but we treat it like a priority orange.
Because of the hospital.
So we give it the higher, if you're asking what MDOT classifies as, it's still blue.
But we classify it as a high priority.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you, because I know that particularly of our Trauma One Center is critical. So you're still practicing that way. Thank you.
You know, one of the things I want to really highlight again, we talked about it, but the tri-party system that this board participates in the county, very, very important. We appreciate your effort on that tri-party system. It's working great. The community picks the project. That's the key. And it works really good. It works really good. We appreciate you keeping that funding in place. We think that's working great. I think one of the things that you noticed in this presentation was safety. We might have expanded a lot of roads, put a lot of things up there, but safety is the key. And I think all the commissioners, from our managing director, Dennis Kolar, and our information officer, Craig Bryson over there. Craig is you see him on TV and you hear him all the time on the radio, but you know that's who we're talking about. And Dennis, safety is the issue. That's what we're clear about, is safety. That's very, very important. That is, and do we have any other comments, guys? Any other questions from commissioners?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Hoffman.
Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you. I want to compliment you guys. I think you do a great job. Dennis Kolar, all the staff at the Road Commission, you respond very well. I'm sure I can speak for some of the other commissioners. When we have an issue, you guys respond quite satisfactorily, and you've solved a lot of problems in my district, and I really appreciate that. I know I've called Ron on Sundays, kind of suggested I don't do that all the time, but he's always helpful, and I appreciate it.
You know, I think it was our chief executive says, you guys are always in an emergency over there at the Road Commission. I said, that's what we do. That is what we do. We're always functioning. If there's an emergency in regards to salt, needs to go down, plow needs to be used somewhere, or there's a pothole somewhere needs to be fixed. We function in it, and that's what we work our staff on that particular issue. There were some other questions?
Commissioner Zach has another one.
So I want to publicly thank the Road Commission for doing Wyoming Avenue in the Charter Township of Royal Oak. This is one of the poorest communities, if not the poorest, in our county, and never has any matching money. And they don't meet the standards of priority as far as traffic things. It was always going to be at the bottom of the list. So I do appreciate it. I even did a road trip with some residents to your meeting several years ago, and I truly appreciate your paving Wyoming, as do the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Any other?
Commissioner Jackson.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to thank him. He's standing off to the side, but he's a very responsive and an asset to your staff there. Every time I've had to have information, like immediately for a public meeting, he's always been on the ready. Every time I've contacted him, he calls me back the same day. He's the wealth of information, and I just want to give you praise today while you're here. And thank you for all that you do to keep our public informed about our projects and issues. Every time something hits the news, he's right there, but then he's also up close and right there for us to relay information. So, thank you.
Commissioner Lippert.
Just to follow up, earlier we heard about the county's response to the water main break. As part of that, it's going to be, the road has to be repaired. Do we know what the timing is on that?
It's
not ours.
Oh?
Road belongs to Farmington Hills.
Goodness.
We can't fix it.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank you.
that. Yes, Commissioner Tom.
Well, I just want to thank you all for doing Franklin Road from Long Lake South all the way to Maple now. I went to Temple earlier in the fall, and my constituents at the Temple said, hooray for the Road Commission. So I think that's quite, that they even remembered that we had done it. So thank you very, very much. And now we can all get to the cider mill and get cider and not have our teeth rattle as we drive across the roads. So thank you.
More to come next year.
Right.
Oh.
Any other questions? I want to, first of all, thank you for letting us make this presentation. We will have additional funding because of the tax increases, you know, because of the road. We'll have additional funding next year. We will aggressively once again go out and get that urban funding for federal aid roads and spend it on those roads. We will do that. And if you have any questions, you know how to get us. And on behalf of the commissioners, the directors, and our dedicated men and women at the Road Commission, we want to thank you for your continued support. And if you ever have any questions, you know our number, 858-4804, right? Everybody's got it. Plus, they probably got my cell phone number. You know, give us a call. Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate the presentation. Madam Clerk, any other communication to come before us today?
Yes, we have a few today. The first is dated October 13th regarding the 2016 Local Road Improvement Program Project 2016-19 from the city manager of the City of Bloomfield Hills, David Hendrickson, just expressing gratitude and submitting his report on behalf of the City of Bloomfield Hills City Commission. And the second one is dated October 20th, 2017, regarding the 2016 Local Road Improvement Matching Fund Grant Project from Charles Udy, the Superintendent of Department of Public Works for Farmington, also sending the report with gratitude on behalf of the City of Farmington. And let's see, one dated October 19th. Dear colleagues, I'm hereby dissolving the subcommittee on the Safe Drinking Water for Schools initiative. On behalf of the Finance Committee and the Board of Commissioners, I would like to thank the appointed members for their service toward the charge of creating a program to assist Oakland County schools with the replacement of outdated drinking water fixtures. As chairman of the Finance Committee, I hereby create the School Drinking Water Station Program Subcommittee. The subcommittee's purpose will be to implement the policy and administer the program pursuant to the charges outlined in Miscellaneous Resolution 17289. I'm appointing the following members to the School Drinking Water Station Program Subcommittee: Wade Fleming, Chairman; Tom Middleton; David Woodward. Respectfully submitted, Thomas Middleton, Chairman, Finance Committee, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. And the final communication is a beautiful card that reads, "You're one of God's most special gifts. God brings people into our lives who see with the most understanding eyes, encourage with the most gentle words, and love with the most caring heart." To the Oakland County Board of Commissioners and board staff, so grateful for the gift of you. Thank you all for your kind wishes and beautiful flowers during my illness, Janet Jackson. And that's all the communications today.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Without objection, we'll receive and file. With that, we'll move on to the public comment section of our agenda. I don't believe we have anybody signed up at this point, so if there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address, and we'll recognize you. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which I'll hand back to Chairman Gingell.
Most days I'm not right now.
So I'll bring us to the reports of standing committees, and we have the items on the consent agenda to come before us. So I'll take a motion on the consent agenda, moved by Kokendorfer, supported by Jackson. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
On the consent agenda, Commissioners Crawford?
Yes.
Fleming? Fleming. Gingell?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles? Spiz?
Yes.
Taub?
Yes.
Teets?
Yes.
Wipert?
Yes.
Woodward? Zach? Berman?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, the items on the consent agenda have been adopted, and now we'll move to our regular agenda. We have one committee to come before us on the regular agenda, which is our Planning and Building Committee. Call on the chairperson of that committee, Commissioner Phil Wipert. Commissioner Wipert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today we have 3 items. The first item is miscellaneous resolution in Water Resources Commissioner Water and Sewer System Operations and Maintenance Agreement between the County of Oakland and the Charter Township of Royal Oak. I ask to be referred to Finance.
Without objection, we'll refer to the Finance Committee. Commissioner Wipert.
The second item is miscellaneous resolution, Water Resources Commissioner, Water Resource Operations and Maintenance Agreement between the County of Oakland and the Charter Township of Oakland. I'd ask that be referred to Finance.
Without objection, we'll refer to the Finance Committee. Commissioner Wipert.
And the last item is a miscellaneous resolution regarding the Water Resources Commissioner request for a not-to-exceed $99,250 loan from the long-term revolving fund for the Oak Knob Drain Rehabilitation Project. I'd ask that be referred to Finance.
Without objection, we'll refer to the Finance Committee. Commissioner Wipert.
Mr. Chair, that completes the report of the Planning and Building Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Now on to the remaining items on our agenda. We have no reports of special committees, but we do have a special order of business. And for that, I'll call on Commissioner Tom Middleton to come to the podium. We'll reconsider. Yeah. So for this particular item, we had a finance resolution come before us that we adopted and approved. It did not have an HR report attached to it that needs to be attached to it. So what we'll need to do here is have a motion to reconsider the item. And once that's before us, then we'll attach the HR report and vote on the item again. So I'll take a motion to reconsider by Commissioner Middleton, supported by Commissioner Zach. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. If there's no discussion, we'll call the roll on the motion to reconsider.
Okay. Commissioners Fleming?
Yes.
Gingell?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Kowal?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles? Spiz?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Teets? Wypert?
Yes.
Woodward? Zach?
Yes.
Berman?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays. The item is now before us as reconsideration. I'll take a motion by Middleton, supported by Zach, to move miscellaneous resolution 17282 with the attached human resource report. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Gingell?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Kowal?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles? Spiz?
Yes.
Taub?
Yes.
Teets?
Yes.
Wypert?
Yes.
Woodward? Zach?
Yes.
Berman?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, the resolution with the HR report's been adopted. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
We have no unfinished business. It'll bring us to new and miscellaneous business. I know there are a few resolutions to be introduced today. If the commissioners want to either raise their hand to be recognized or to come to the microphone in the back, I will recognize you. So I see Commissioner Woodward's name is on a couple of these.
Nap time's over.
Commissioner Woodward.
Yes. Let's start with the resolution here, I guess, amending the fiduciary for the partnership for the Oakland County Cooperative Lake Monitoring Program, partnership with Huron River Watershed Council, and request the suspension of rules for reading.
Okay, so we have a matter here to address a fiduciary for this particular item. So I'll take a motion to suspend the rules by Woodward, supported by Wypert. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension of the rules.
Commissioners Hoffman?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Kowal?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles? Spiz?
Yes.
Taub?
Yes.
Teets?
Yes.
Wypert? Woodward?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Berman?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Gingell?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, the rules are now suspended, so I'll take a motion by Woodward, supported by Wypert, to bring the matter before us. Any discussion on this particular item? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Jackson?
Yes.
Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Kowal?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles? Spiz?
Yes.
Taub?
Yes.
Teets?
Yes.
Wypert? Woodward?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Berman? Bowman?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Gingell?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays, the resolution's been adopted. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I also have here, I think most of the members of the board are co-sponsoring a resolution opposing Senate Bill 386 that would invalidate tax foreclosures. We talked about it in the Joint Caucus, and you're the lead sponsor. So on your behalf, ask that we request the suspension of the rules for immediate consideration.
So I'll take a motion to suspend the rules by Woodward, supported by Hoffman. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension of the rules.
Commissioners Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Kowal?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McGilvray? Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles? Spiz?
Yes.
Taub?
Yes.
Teets?
Yes.
Weipert? Woodward? Zach?
Yes.
Berman?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Gingell?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Jackson? Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays. The rules are suspended. I'll now take a motion on the resolution moved by Woodward, supported by Hoffman. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Kowal?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles? Spiz? Taub?
Yes.
Teets?
Yes.
Weipert? Woodward?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Berman?
Yes.
Bowman? Crawford?
Yes.
Fleming?
Yes.
Gingell?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Jackson? Kokendorfer?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays.
19 yeas, 0 nays. The resolution's adopted. So maybe I can just take a moment of special privilege for the Leadership Oakland class here. Just briefly, what we just did is normally resolutions get introduced, they'll go to a committee, it'll get worked through the committee, and then it'll come back to the full board. When there's items that come that are timely in nature where we don't have enough time to send it to a committee, we have a process that we can vote on it this day, and that process is to suspend the rules. For these last two items, we just invoked our special process. We suspended the rules, which requires a vote of the board, and then we put the matter before us to vote on it. One in particular was to appoint a fiduciary. As we've appropriated $50,000 to do lake testing in Oakland County, we needed an entity to be the fiduciary of those funds in that program, and that was the first resolution that we took on. The second is that there's a bill in Lansing that we believe would negatively impact our ability in our tax collection of foreclosures in Oakland County. So the board's taking a position on that bill, which we'll send to Lansing, and hopefully they'll consider it as they deliberate. So just wanted everybody to understand what those last two things were all about and what we were doing. And with that, I'll now move on to any announcements from the board. Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to remind everybody that we will be having active shooter training right here in the auditorium following this meeting.
Any other announcements? Seeing none, I'll announce that we're adjourned on November 9th, 2017 at 9:30 a.m. or at the call of the chair. We are adjourned.